Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor, and this is Cozy Corner. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe for more content every week. I just wanted to stop by and share a little story with you all and something that I experienced. And I've been giving a lot of thought into a lot of the things that I am healing from and allowing myself to turn the next chapter in my life. So after I graduated college, I had an experience where my mom got into some legal trouble and then she ended up having to go to prison. I didn't realize it took an emotional toll on me. I think more so because her and I were still rebuilding a relationship that was damaged previously. And I will never forget how it happened. So at that time, I was staying in Georgia, and we had got wind that there was some things that was going to transpire. And so I was sent back home. And in that process, we didn't understand how serious everything was until I found myself being a part of the whole situation, in a way of having to be there for my mom and having to see her go through what she had to go through and not knowing what the outcome would be. So I'll never forget, I came back home and I was so afraid for my life because I didn't know how connected that this person was at that time. And there were several threats against some of the lives of our family. And one of the things that really had me on edge was the fact that I felt like I was alone in it. Now, granted, I had, people to talk to, but I would never think they would understand what I was going through. Because I don't recall having family that have gone through the same thing. And so during that time, I had to really ground myself into trying to figure out what the next steps were. And it was very difficult. I made sure I was home before dark, watching my surroundings because you don't know who's watching you. And I'll never forget, I was working for this job, and I won't say the name of the job. And I went for lunch one day, and I went and got a sandwich. And there was this lady that took a picture of me. And because I was so on edge at that time, I went off. Questioning her about the picture. She was like, "Oh, I didn't take a picture." I said, and I saw her take a picture, but I didn't know what for. And she was like, "Oh, I didn't take a picture of you. I took a picture of something behind you." And I was like freaking out. So I ended up following her into the parking lot, trying to figure out, delete the picture. If you have a picture, I just want you to delete it, get rid of it. And then I ended up taking a picture of her license plate, and then later on talking to my mom's lawyer in regards to that to be sure that I was safe. And at the time I was working for this job, and they would be sure to let me off at a certain time before dark, so that way I wouldn't feel like I was unsafe driving home. I was very alert, with my surroundings, not going to certain places. And at that time, before all of this transpired, I remember, we wasn't sure if they were going to allow her to have this procedure that she had to get done for her health. And I thought I had time to be able to see her before she went in. And then the judge decided to go ahead and take her in anyway. That was a hard day for me when I got the phone call and found out that they decided to go in a different direction, and I wasn't able to see her before she went in. And then it just went quiet. I was told to stand by, and she'll reach out to me once she gets to her destination. And imagine going through a period of silence where you don't hear from your parent at all, and you don't know what's going on. You don't know if they're okay, considering the fact that my mom has health issues, as a child, you're concerned. And the only form of communication you have is your mom's lawyer. And to an extent, she only knows so much. She can only provide so much information. And so I went through this period of really being depressed, to be honest. Because not only was I going through that, but I was also still tied to an abusive relationship that just made the situation worse. Not being able to, feeling like I was trapped, in a sense. And I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone, out of fear of being judged, out of fear of the backlash from whatever trauma that my other parents went through in regards to my mom. And so I just kept all that in. And, when I was finally able to talk to her, being able to hear her voice and, you see on TV parents getting taken away and some of the things that a child experienced. Now, keep in mind, I was an adult, but still it doesn't change, the fact that it's still a parent that's been locked away. And having to communicate through collect calls and having to communicate through a email portal. And you're not hearing from them every day, so you don't really know what's going on. And outside of what they're telling you, and the calls are short. And I think for me, I didn't realize that it really affected me to the point where I felt like I really couldn't function. I think my safety, a lot of my, the confidence that I had within myself, outside of course, being in an abusive relationship, I didn't have it. I didn't have the confidence, and I didn't feel secure within myself in regards to that as well. And it showed. I started gaining weight. I started having more health issues. And I started allowing things to happen in my life that I know if I was in my right mind, I wouldn't have. But at that time, I felt like that was my only outlet. I was so out of it. And so when I went through that time period, and that was really difficult. And I think it should be talked about more. You see a lot of things on the news about children experiencing parents going away. You see it on the movies. You see it in everyday, life where you hear about it, but nobody really talks about the effects that they have. Seeing your parent in a halfway house, where it's kind of like you're out of prison, but you're still on some form of a lockdown. Or seeing your parent go through the house arrest process, what that looks like. What effects not only do they have on the child, but the parent that's having to go through that. And it's hard. And at that time, it was very hard. And I had a hard time really dealing with it. But I think through that, it made me stronger. It made me more aware of my surroundings, not only on the outside, but people that I allow inside of my life and to occupy space in my life. It really heightened my sense of awareness of the things that people go through every day. And they're silent. They have dealt with those things on their own, and they didn't have anybody to talk to. They didn't have anybody to confide in. And it makes you wonder, how did they turn out? How those people made it through. What are some of the methods that they use to be able to get through day to day? And then to having to deal with people speaking so poorly on your parent based on their experiences with them. Okay, you didn't have a good experience with them, but there's still a child that's been affected. And that's another layer of trauma that you're having to sort out on top of the fact that your parent is gone away. I think that people don't realize that when you try to, speak poorly on people that are tied to the people that you're speaking of, it makes the situation worse. And we have to be more mindful of those things. But in sharing this story, it helped me realize that even though it was short-lived, because now looking back on it, it seemed like a long time then. It seemed like a very long time then. And I am so grateful that the Most High saw fit that my mom was able to come back home, because things could have gone worse. Things could have turned out horribly, not only for her, but for the family and everyone involved. And it also showed me a side of my mom that I had never seen. For her to be in a situation and unknowingly of everything that's going on around her, her being brave and saying, hey, I have to do whatever I have to do in this time. And this is the season that I have to go away. That shows a lot of strength. Not only that, but, other people that may have been involved in so many ways were spared. And that's the beauty of it all, because it could have been a blame game. It could have been a pointing of the fingers. It could have been all these other things, but it wasn't. Like I said, it showed a side of my mom that I had never seen before. It showed growth and maturity in putting someone else first and not just thinking about her own needs and wants at that time. And also trying to mend relationships that she had damaged in the past or had direct involvement with in the past. And she's grown a lot since then. And I've grown a lot since then also. And that also, in so many ways, you show more compassion when you're out and about and you're hearing these things and these children that are affected, like I said, and these are young children, and being able to show them the same compassion because you've gone through that and you know what that feels like, and helping them through those difficult times because you don't know what they're feeling. Like I said, I went through a depression stage where I just felt so trapped and I couldn't find my way out. That's how I felt at that time. And to be free of those feelings and to be free of those emotions that kind of weighed you down is the motivation that I need to be able to press forward and be able to sit here and tell this story. Because then I was terrified. I had never been in a situation like that where I felt like my life could have been in danger in any form or anybody that I loved, family, and it gives you another level of appreciation of life and family and not taking that for granted. And I am truly grateful for that. And I hope that something that I said in here could inspire someone. And if you have friends, if you have family that have experienced this, if you have nieces and nephews, or if you know of any children that have gone through this, be there for them. Encourage them. Keep them uplifted. And pray for them, because you don't know what they're going through. And the battles that they face every day, having to feel the void of not having their parent there, whether it's for a long time and it's a long sentence or it's a short sentence, still has an impact that they are going to have to heal from eventually. But I love you all. This is Taylor with Cozy Corner. Have a great day.